Well, folks, last Friday, Beto O'Rourke announced that it was over. He was ending his campaign to be the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party in the 2020 presidential election. And to be honest, I have criticized Beto frequently, but it kind of sucks for him that he finally had started to stand for something instead of just standing on something, and he still couldn't rebound. Beto announced his campaign to a lot of fanfare. You know, he had that great article, I was born to be in this. You know, he had that real great youth pastor energy, but he didn't go anywhere. So he relaunched his campaign. And it still didn't go anywhere. And so then just a couple months ago, he relaunched the campaign again. So after one official launch, he had two other relaunches and still couldn't do anything about it until, of course, he got serious about the issue of gun control. People saw that, oh wow, this guy's actually doing something that's pretty cool. That's good, that's needed. But it was too late. He had gone far too long without standing for anything that he couldn't bring his campaign back from the dead, and that is why he dropped out. We're going to see another person drop out. I predict either the day after Iowa or possibly before the Iowa caucus, and that person is Kamala Harris. As we had reported last week, Kamala Harris dramatically has reduced her staff. She fired a lot of people last week. They're having to renegotiate contracts with outside contractors because they can't afford to pay them their full price anymore. And her chief of staff has had to take a $10,000 pay cut. And then 3 days later, she had to make even more cuts. Yesterday, it was announced that Kamala Harris is shutting down 3 of the 4 offices her campaign operates in the state of New Hampshire. She's also firing almost all of the staff, leaving the entire operation in New Hampshire up to volunteers. No professionals, no high-priced consultants, nobody who actually may know what they're doing. No offense to the volunteers. They can knock on doors, they can make phone calls, absolutely. But they're not prepared to go out there and spin for her the way the consultants were. So she's in trouble because New Hampshire, folks, that's not a long-off primary. That's the second one. And Kamala's already betting it all on Iowa, where she's not even polling in the top 4 anymore. Her campaign is finished. Let's be honest, let's be clear. This is not an attack on her. This is based on all available evidence, folks. She is firing people every few days because they can't continue on. She sees the poll numbers. They're not working for her. And much like Beto's failing campaign up until the end, it's because nobody knows what she stands for. Nobody knows what she's going to do, what she wants to do, what she would do, what she could do. She has done an exceptionally horrible job of explaining this to the American voters. And that's always going to be a problem. When you look at people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, you know what they stand for. I don't care if you agree with it or not. You should agree with it. But you know what they stand for. Kamala Harris, no, you don't. Beto O'Rourke, at the end of his campaign, you knew this guy was serious about gun control. Prior to that, who knows? Andrew Yang, you know his big issue, not his only, but his big issue is universal basic income and fighting automation. You know where he stands. You don't know where Kamala, excuse me. You don't know where Buttigieg stands. The only thing he seems to stand for right now is not standing for the things that Bernie Sanders stands for. Joe Biden, same way. And all of these people are going to suffer the same fate with their campaigns. They're going to go down in flames when voters finally go into those booths. They've got their ballot in their hand and they're looking at it and they say, you know what? I kind of want to vote for this dude, but I don't know what he's like. Why though? Why am I voting for him? People are going to have that realization, not just in the voting booth, but as we get closer to these primaries and caucuses. And if you haven't had that realization yet, I suggest you take a good long look at your candidate and ask yourself, why exactly am I supporting this person? That question may be a little bit harder to answer than a lot of people think. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.